This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back to the show. We are here designing your life, taking control of your growth, right? Yeah, this is based on chapter 7. We are ecstatic. The law of design, John Maxwell's 15 invaluable laws of growth. So we want to welcome you back here. Mark Anthony Thomas, if you don't know, from WUAKSA, Wake Up and Kick Some Ass, talking about the law of design. And again, we are reminded that growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. So if you don't plan your own life, someone else will plan it for you. So let's contemplate a little bit. Go ahead.
Hey, so Jill, thank you so much for having me today. This is our last meeting, and couldn't.
It is?
Yes, it is. But we ended it on a good note. The law of design. Last week, a couple of weeks, we talked about the law of intention, self-awareness, the mirror, reflection, consistency, and the environment. And I like to think of those as pillars. And so now we're going to build on those pillars, and we're going to do the law of design. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Where do we begin? You want to contemplate a little bit?
Some of the information I'm going to give you is going to help you to contemplate a bit.
Awesome. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So to maximize our growth, we need to develop some strategies to reach our full potential. And a couple of things to do. Growth requires intentional design, not just random activity, like willy-nilly just do stuff. So be intentional about planning your life, not just living it. A lot of people just live their lives, but they're not intentional about growing it. What do they really want to do? Are they just doing whatever comes around? And also glance backwards to plan forward. This is a good example. If you had a lot of activity going on the past year, and then you're moving forward to this year, and what worked last year that you're bringing forward,
Yeah.
Some of the things you don't need, especially a lot of tasks, a lot of obligations that you had. You want to make, when you're designing your life, you want to design but everything that's going to work for you, not against you. So efficiency doesn't equal effectiveness. Sometimes efficiency means speed. You're really doing it fast. You can get a lot of stuff done, but when it's all said and done, a lot of stuff had to be corrected and changed because it was wrong. You're not taking your time. So doing more doesn't always mean doing better. And busy work keeps you occupied, but meaningful work moves you forward. If you're intentional about picking what you want to do, what you need to do, that's going to drive you forward, that kind of work fulfills you and it moves you forward. The best growth strategies align with your personal values, goals, and visions. What are your goals? What are your values? What's your vision? Sum it up. What's your why? A lot of people ask why. I think there was a book, Dean DeGracio, I think him and Anthony Robbins do it. He has a thing called What's Your Why? 7 layers deep, and it's like an onion. You find out what your why is, and then you peel it and you go to the next level, and you get really, really deep in what you really want to do. Alignment creates momentum. Confusion creates resistance. And I had to think about that for a while. That may be something one can contemplate on. Momentum. Momentum. We like the word momentum, but when we're confused, we're just bouncing off a wall. We're not getting anything accomplished. And I hate being confused. When you're confused in your life, nothing's working. You're always resistant. So one of the next things is why most people don't design their life.
Okay.
And it's quite simple. They don't design their life because it doesn't register to them. It's nothing that what does that even mean to some people?
Yeah.
They just drift and react and they stay busy without accomplishing anything. It's almost like having one of those hamster wheels on a mountain. You want to climb the mountain, but you're like at a certain point and you're just spinning and spinning and spinning. So you're not doing yourself any good. Many people drift through life reacting instead of planning. Life becomes something that happens to them, but it's nothing that they're actually intentional about designing. And they move from one event to another without reflection or purpose. I think
Right.
last week we talked about the law of reflection. You have to stop and pause. Where's that growth taking you right now? But yeah, where's that growth taking you? And so when you stop and reflect and you're designing your life, it's easier. You can sit down and you can build like an architect, if you will. He's building his life. So he's building a building. You're building your life the way you want it. You want to design it the way you want it, so you can be happy.
Oh, not bad. All right, I like that. Designing our life like an architect. I like the way that sounds.
I like it too, and it sounds better when I'm sitting down um, reflecting on things, because there was a while there, and it goes for many other people. We're just going through life, man. We have there was no purpose, no design, no. Wow, I wish I could have that. I wish I could do that, nothing. So the fear of failure, and that's where the fear of failure or lack of clarity holds people back. The comfort zone is it's comforting. That's what it's called, the comfort zone. It's like a bowl of beef stew, maybe, or a nice bread. I mean, you don't want to move out of it, because you're comfortable, and fear is part of our lives, is our nature, but we weren't designed to be fearful of things. We were designed to take risk. So most people don't move forward because they're afraid that they're going to fail. Others simply don't know what they truly want. We talked about that last. Most people have no idea. They've never sat down and thought about it and contemplated what they want in their life. They just, whatever happens. As a matter of fact, it's a commercial about a Voya. They're talking about retirement plan. The one guy said he's got his retirement plan built, and he asked the guy, "What are you doing with yours?" Well, I'm just winging it. I'm hoping it'll, and it's not going to happen. Well, it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen very well. So, without intentional design, life feels busy but unfulfilling. A full calendar doesn't equal a busy life or a productive life. You can calendar up with all sorts of stuff, but if they're not moving you towards your goal, it's kind of worthless. And without direction, you can be busy every day and still feel stuck. Busy work is not meaningful work. So, but anyway.
Anyway,
I'm gonna chill out for a little bit. But designing your life is so important. And at any age, you can look back at your life and decide, yeah, I want to change. I need to change something. And that's why this book, 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth, is so important, because it gives you step by step things that you can do. It doesn't happen overnight, but it can happen, and it happens very well if you apply it. From drifting to design, the key growth strategies. I like to call these my 3 F's. They're focus, flexibility, and focus, and forward looking. And as a matter of fact, I designed a cup, a mug that has the 3 F's, and it's pretty cool, But you want to plan with purpose, prepare for both challenges and opportunities. Planning. In your line of work, you have to plan certain things. In my line of work, I got to plan certain things. In the military, they got to plan things. You got to plan. You got to look at, what do you want and how am I going to get there? It's like being in the mall. You are here. Well,
true.
You got to move. You got to go through some levels to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Growth begins when you stop living in response mode and start living in design mode. And the knee-jerk mentality. If something happens, you react to it instead of responding in kind. So reflect. So that was look ahead before you act. Reflect often turns experiences into insight. Always reflect on what you're doing. especially in the evening. How did your day go? Reflect on it. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I could have done this better, etc. And that gives you time to work on it. Be intentional. Align daily choices with long-term goals. Ask, does this move me closer to the person I want to be?
Yeah.
Growth is a result of consistent, intentional action. I think we talked about that last week. Being intentional the first week, and then being consistently doing things, to get you to the point where you want to be.
Yeah.
Simplify and focus, build systems and support growth. Eliminate distractions and unnecessary commitments. I talked about that earlier. Look back on the last year. You may have some tasks or some obligations that you were doing. So you just want to get rid of those and make sure that anything that can keep you from moving forward, you want to get rid of those. So that's it. So
that's not it. We got plenty more to talk about. That's not it, but I love it. There's a lot going on here. And, I love this law of design. It's something I never really, thought about. And, people don't design life. We take time to design so many other things, landscape design, our house plans. We should be designing our lives. Like, really, like it should be a package. Like when you're born at the hospital, it should be like, here's your life designer, meet with them. Here's your consultation. Let's get started. Why not? Right?
like
Um,
that.
that's something we should be taught at a young age and work with a life designer. And, when we're young.
Well, it should be started at a young age, but you remember the very first week we started, we talked about negative self-talk.
Oh, yeah.
And the negative self-talk keeps a lot of people from designing their life because they were already told so many things. And and then they begin to live that scenario,
Yeah.
And like you said in the beginning, if you don't plan your life, someone else will plan it for you,
Yeah.
And whatever they plan, it's not going to be much because obviously they're going to look out for number one. They're going to look out for themselves,
Yeah.
But, my, for the longest time, um, I there were opportunities that came across, but I didn't know how to respond to them. So I didn't do anything with them, but I always reacted to challenges and things that got in the way, stumbling blocks that they got in the way. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were teaching me something,
Yeah.
but I didn't even learn from those. I just kept going and going and going. The challenges and challenges are always going to be there in life for you, for me, the next guy down the street. They're always going to be there. There's a book by Ryan Holiday, and he says the obstacle is the way. And what he's saying is that obstacle that's standing right there, that's the way through it. And so you have to look at that as a challenge. You have to look at that as when I get through it, I'm going to learn from it. But
Yeah.
so people look at it and they turn the other way, and and you don't know what sort of multitude of opportunities are behind that obstacle, and maybe those obstacles are put in the way by I don't know, a higher power or something. I don't know, but they're there, and if you don't tackle them, if you don't quote design a life to work through challenges and obstacles that are in the way, then you're never going to have what it is you want. That's even if you even think to want to have something, something has to trigger in your life um, that says, I can do more. And that was
Mm-hmm.
something that happened to me. I can do more. Uh, I'm just not innately, I'm just not satisfied with what I'm doing, Um, but I think a lot of people will stop because it's a challenge. It's difficult. It's not easy. It's not, you say you want to do this and then wake up the next morning and you got it. No, there's so much depending on what you want to do. There's studying, there's understanding, there's there's just so much. But if you want to build on it, you design it, you put little things in place that are going to help you. Before you know it, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm out of that comfort zone. So
Yeah.
practical
Well,
application. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. But just positive affirmation. What?
Practical applications
Oh,
and no, it was practical applications and reflection discussions. So growth becomes real when intention turns into consistent action. I think we talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
yeah.
And life design isn't a one-time project; it's a daily discipline. And like I said, you don't say it and wake up the next morning and this is a journey. It could take 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It could take a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I believe but if you are true to yourself and you're bettering yourself, I believe that the the next logical step is to reach out and make the world around you a better place, especially people, and because that's what we are. We were designed for. We were put here to serve, to help others in some sort of capacity. So if you're not designing your life and you're not even making an attempt, you're doing a disservice to the whole
Yeah.
world because
Yeah.
the whole world needs you in some sort of. You have some sort of gift. You know, everyone has a gift and everyone has a talent to affect change in their life and in other people's lives. So that
Mm.
so practical applications. These are some action steps for the listener, and I want them to take it, write these down because they can have now. And what I actually said, write down your vision or top 3 goals. Everyone should have a vision or at least 3 top goals. I
Okay.
think first week we talked about your purpose. Write down three purposes that you want to accomplish. So it's always good to write it down. Once you get it down on paper, then you can start working on it. The number 2 is evaluate your daily habits. Everything that we do in our life is not really not maybe conducive for time, or they're just harmful things to do. So we got to look at daily habits and change those, and align those habits with your goals.
Yep.
And schedule weekly reflection time. Once again, we talk about
Okay.
pausing, just finding out where am I at. You don't want to do it every day. You want to do it every week. The end of the week, just do it and journal it and write it down. Write clearly so you can read it. Unlike me, I write and it's all hieroglyphics. Uh, create systems and support for growth. Calendars, mentors, accountability partners, coaches, podcasts, anything that keeps you learning and focused. And that should be a continual thing, always learning something. And growth accelerates when you build systems and community around it. So always staying busy. That's when it talks about the habits. Get some of these habits you can get rid of, and you can replace them with good habits like reading, coming up with a book list or journaling, whatever the case may be. If you're watching Netflix or which I,
That's I'm a Netflix junkie. I like Netflix. Go ahead. Yeah. Uh-huh.
but curtail that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, and we were just looking at our screen time, and I was like, man, so I cut back on it, and it helps out a lot because I replaced it with something else. I read another chapter. Um, Instead of 1 chapter a day, I read 2 chapters a day. And then that way I don't have to play chess or backgammon or whatever the case may be. And I still want to reflect on where I'm at right now. I know this podcast, this is the very first time I've ever done a podcast.
You would never know. You're a pro.
Well, I'm working on it, but this is something that I may have thought about a year or 2 ago,
Mm-hmm.
but I was thinking, I don't know.
Nah. Mm-hmm.
But I love Chat GPT because I went in and I said, create a instructions on how to set up a podcast from beginning to end. It gave me instructions on the equipment and all of that stuff. So my plan next year is to have a podcast. I've gotten a list of people that I'll have guests on different topics we'll talk about, and I'm gonna go for it. But I don't think I ever would have done that had I not been here. And so being here is part of that growth.
Yeah.
And growth will come differently for different people, but my goal, one of my goals is to reach out to more people, to get my word out. And one way to do that is with a podcast. And so here I never would have thought I'd be here. So designing your life, finding those things that you want to do and that's going to get you forward, you just do them, just do them. No one ever
do them.
and said, you were horrible, blah, 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 blah. Don't ever come back again,
Yeah.
This has been a very, very excellent experience for me.
Well, thank you. It is. And you're doing so well with your own self. Come on. Don't just credit it. It's you waking up and kicking that ass. You started this movement. You got it.
Actually, someone asked me today, I said, what does WUSKS stand for? And I said, well, and it was a church group. And I said, well, wake up and kick some asphalt.
Ah, good one.
Asphalt. I said, yeah. I said, well, then I said, because if you don't wake up and kick ass, whose fault is it? And they just thought it was so hilarious. They thought it was funny. It was witty. And so sometimes the last word, ass.
Yeah.
Sometimes people take that the wrong way. So depending on the environment or depending on the company that I am, I would just put letters. And then if they ask me, I have a story behind it, but I'm not going to change it because I think it's appropriate. I think it's appropriate and I'm not changing it. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it, I guess,
I love it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it if you're a country music fan. All right, great. So, yeah, if you're out there, as kind of mentioning, it's like some of us, I think, just feel like life is happening, right? Instead of for you. And you say, like, what if the reason you feel stuck is because your growth lacks a strategy? Yeah, hello. I think we all are guilty of that. Not many of us take the time to plan out our lives and design it, but I think we need to start working on that. Don't you agree?
I definitely agree. And I am a student of that. And I just hope that I can get more people thinking about it, at least thinking about it. Sometimes you can bring people to that place, but they're not ready.
Oh,
but
my
if
light went out. Sorry. Hold on. I'm going to try to flick it. Ah, it's okay. It happens.
But if they can think about it, at some point, the self will guide them in the right direction,
Amen.
I think everyone innately is designed for greatness. We were born with potential. As he said, acres of potential, just really cultivated. And depending on where we are in our life, that cultivation will come early or it will come later, but it will come. And it may not come in a grand scale.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, a lot of people think if they need to do something, they need to do something big. No, you don't. You don't need to do anything big. You just need to start small and build on it. You need to design it. And don't be scared. Just go.
And how do we reach out to you, our designer, please? How do we reach out to you?
WAKSA today at gmail.com. And you can reach me at WAKSA today.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other email is WAKSA today at gmail.com. Yes, that's it.
Awesome. Go ahead.
601-513-4677 is my number. And if you're on LinkedIn, you can catch me on LinkedIn. I'm at Mark Thomas. And I look forward to talking with you, just to have a chat.
Sounds good, sweetheart. Pleasure having you back and looking forward to the next time we connect. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks for always being so awesome and thorough. You're great at this. I'll go
Well,
wake up and kick some more ass tomorrow, okay?
from a professional like you, I appreciate that.
Stop it. I'm just a friend, my new friend. Thank you. So
Well,
great chatting with you. We'll connect again, okay?
all
Till
right. Thank
next time, we'll say. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.